You ate a clean dinner last night, no dessert, no white rice, no bread. You made the right choices all day long. You went to bed feeling like you had finally done everything correctly. And then you woke up this morning. You reached for your glucose monitor, and the number staring back at you was 147 or 158 or higher. You did not eat anything overnight. You did not sneak a cookie at midnight. So where did that number come from? This question haunts millions of adults over 60 who are managing their blood sugar with genuine discipline and real effort. And the fact that no one has given you a clear answer is not your fault. It is a gap in the way this condition gets explained. Today, I'm going to close that gap. What I am going to explain is a specific biological process that plays out between dinner and dawn, triggered not by what you ate for dinner, but by a habit that happens in the hours between your last meal and your pillow. A habit that most people with diabetes have been told is either safe or even beneficial. We are going to call this the midnight mystery. And at the center of it is an organ that most people never think about until something goes wrong. Your pancreas, specifically an overworked pancreas that never got the chance to rest. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what is happening inside your body while you sleep. And more importantly, you'll know precisely what to stop doing tonight to begin changing those morning numbers. Let us start with a biological truth that most physicians do not have time to explain in a standard office visit. Your pancreas is not just a passive organ, it is an active rhythmic one. It has its own internal clock, a biological schedule that is deeply tied to your eating patterns, your sleep cycles, and the hormonal rhythm of your entire body. And for that clock to function correctly, your pancreas needs something that most people over 60 are unknowingly denying it. It needs a real rest window at night. Here's how to picture this. Imagine a factory that runs specialized machinery on a production line. That machinery is precise, sensitive, and critical to the entire operation. Under normal operating conditions, that machinery runs its shift, then shuts down for several hours of maintenance. During that downtime, it cools, it resets, and the residual heat and pressure from the day's work dissipates completely. Now imagine that factory never shuts down. The machinery runs at full capacity for 24 hours straight, day after day, week after week. What happens to that machine? It degrades, it becomes less precise, the output quality drops. And eventually, without that maintenance window, it begins to fail in ways that are very difficult to reverse. That is what happens to the beta cells of your pancreas when you deny them a prolonged nighttime fasting window. Beta cells are the specific cells inside your pancreas that manufacture and release insulin. In a healthy metabolic environment, they are extraordinarily responsive. But in adults over 60 with insulin resistance, those beta cells are already working harder than they should, compensating, overproducing, straining to overcome a cellular communication breakdown. They need the nighttime fasting window, ideally a continuous 3 to 4 hour window of zero insulin demand before sleep, to clear out residual insulin activity, reduce cellular inflammation, and reset their sensitivity for the following morning. When that window is interrupted, when something triggers an insulin response in the hours just before bed, your beta cells cannot complete their reset cycle. They arrive at 7 a.m. already fatigued, already depleted, already struggling. And the morning number reflects that struggle precisely. Now, what is interrupting that window? This is where the answer becomes genuinely surprising, because the most common culprit is not a slice of cake. It is not a bowl of pasta. It is something that millions of seniors with diabetes specifically choose because they believe it is safe. The habit is this: a late night snack or drink that is labeled sugar-free, a sugar-free ice cream bar, a diet soda, a pack of diabetic-friendly cookies sweetened with sucralose or aspartame, a flavored sparkling water with artificial sweetener, consumed anywhere between 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. while watching television or before bed. The logic is understandable. Zero sugar on the label, no calories from carbohydrates. Surely no insulin response. Surely this is safe. The logic is wrong. And the reason it is wrong comes down to one of the most underreported mechanisms in metabolic medicine. It is called the cephalic phase insulin response. And it changes everything about how we think about artificial sweeteners at night. Here's what this means in plain language. Your body does not wait for sugar to arrive in your bloodstream before it begins responding. It starts responding the moment sweetness touches your tongue. The sweet taste receptors on your tongue send an immediate signal to your brain. Your brain interprets that sweetness as incoming sugar because for the entirety of human evolutionary history, that is exactly what sweet taste meant. Real sugar was coming, real glucose was on the way. Your brain responds to that signal by alerting your pancreas to prepare an insulin release. Not a full release, but a preparatory insulin dump, a biochemical getting ready response. Here's the problem. The artificial sweetener reaches your small intestine and nothing is there. No real glucose arrives. The insulin that was just released into your bloodstream has nothing to work on. Blood sugar drops. Not dramatically, but measurably. Your body registers this drop as a mild emergency, and it responds as the way it always responds to a perceived blood sugar emergency. It activates your liver. Your liver, already primed for nighttime glucose management, interprets the drop as a threat. It begins releasing stored glucose into your blood in large quantities aggressively. This is called a reactive glucose release, and it happens between midnight and 3 a.m. while you are completely asleep and completely unaware. You wake up at 7 a.m. Your glucose monitor shows a number that makes no sense given your clean dinner, and that number is not a mystery anymore. It is the direct result of a sugar-free snack you chose specifically because you believed it was protecting you. That is metabolic sabotage at its most frustrating, because the intention was right. Only the information was missing. Now, some of you watching this are thinking, I do not touch sugar-free products. I have a piece of fruit before bed, something natural, something the body knows how to handle. This next section is specifically for you. A bowl of grapes, a small apple, a few slices of mango. These feel like responsible choices. They are natural. They come from the earth. They have fiber and vitamins. How could they possibly be contributing to a high morning reading? The answer lies in how fructose, the primary sugar in most fruits, is processed differently from glucose, and specifically how an aging liver processes fructose during the nighttime hours. Here is the key distinction that rarely gets explained. When you eat glucose, the sugar in bread, rice, or potatoes, it enters your bloodstream directly and gets distributed to muscles and organs throughout your body for energy. Fructose does not work that way. Fructose bypasses that distribution process almost entirely. It travels directly to your liver, and your liver is the primary site where it gets metabolized. Your liver converts fructose through a specific enzymatic process into either usable energy or fat, and which outcome you get depends largely on context, how much fructose arrived, how recently you ate, and critically, what time of night it is. In the evening hours, your liver's metabolic rate slows. This is part of your natural circadian biology. Your body expects rest, not digestion. When a significant fructose load arrives at your liver at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., your liver lacks the metabolic activity to process it efficiently for energy. So it stores it as fat, specifically as intrahepatic lipid, fat deposits inside the liver cells themselves. This matters profoundly for your morning blood sugar, because fat inside liver cells is one of the most potent drivers of hepatic insulin resistance, meaning your liver becomes less responsive to insulin signal to stop releasing glucose overnight. A liver that does not respond properly to insulin is a liver that keeps releasing glucose into your blood, even when blood sugar is already adequate, even while you sleep. This does not mean fruit is harmful. In the correct context, earlier in the day, paired with protein and fiber, consumed as part of a complete meal, whole fruit is genuinely beneficial for most people managing blood sugar. The problem is specifically the timing. A fruit snack after dinner, consumed as the last food your body processes before sleeping, creates a liver environment at night that works directly against your morning glucose goals. This distinction, not whether you eat fruit, but when, is one of the most practical and immediate changes you can make. And it leads us naturally to what you can do instead. I want to be very clear about something before we go further. The goal here is not to send you to bed hungry. Hunger at bedtime is its own form of physiological stress, and stress through cortisol will also raise your morning blood sugar. That is not the answer. The answer is a very different kind of evening closure. If you need something in the evening hours, something warm, something settling, something that feels like a genuine end to the day, consider a simple cup of plain chamomile tea. Chamomile has been studied for its mild blood sugar modulating effects, and it contains no carbohydrates, no sweeteners, and triggers zero insulin response. Add a small pinch of Ceylon cinnamon, not cassia cinnamon, which is the common grocery store variety, but Ceylon, sometimes labeled true cinnamon. Clinical studies have shown that Ceylon cinnamon can measurably improve insulin sensitivity and reduce fasting glucose levels when used consistently. This single swap, replacing the sugar-free snack or the late-night fruit with warm chamomile and cinnamon, removes the two triggers we discussed today. No cephalic insulin response, no fructose reaching a slowing liver, no midnight glucose emergency. Just a resting pancreas, completing its reset, preparing for tomorrow now. For those of you who want a complete structured evening protocol, not just one swap, but a full picture of what your last meal of the day should look like, what the timing should be, and exactly how to structure your dinner to stay full through the night without triggering a single unnecessary insulin response. We have built that blueprint for you. It is called the 21-Day A1C Reset Guide. It is written in large print. It is designed specifically for adults over 60, and it contains a full evening meal protocol that addresses each of the hidden triggers we have covered across our last 3 videos: the morning breakfast traps, the daytime glucose ambushes, and now the evening habits that have been quietly raising your fasting numbers while you sleep. Every dinner recommendation is built around one goal: give your beta cells the uninterrupted rest window they need to reset overnight, so that when you reach for that monitor tomorrow morning, the number finally reflects the effort you have been putting in all along. To access the 21-day A1C reset guide, look directly below this video. You will find a pinned comment. It is the very first comment in the section. The link is there waiting for you. Simply scroll down and click it. Before I close, I want to say something that I mean with complete sincerity. Managing blood sugar over 60 is one of the most demanding things a person can do quietly, privately, and without much acknowledgement. Every meal is a decision. Every morning, reading carries emotional weight. And the fact that the information available has too often been incomplete, or worse, misleading, is not a reflection of your effort. It is a gap in the system, and you deserve better than that. The biology we covered today is real. The mechanisms are documented, and the changes required are genuinely small. A different evening drink, a different understanding of timing, a resting pancreas instead of an overworked one. You have the information now. That is where every real change begins. I will see you in the next one. The content in this video is provided for educational and informational purposes only. It does not constitute medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment of any kind. Individual metabolic responses vary. Artificial sweetener research and fructose metabolism studies are ongoing, and findings may evolve. Always consult your physician, endocrinologist, or a registered dietitian before making any changes to your diet, evening routine, supplement use, or diabetes management plan. Do not adjust or discontinue any prescribed medication based on this content.